sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in this dunya he holds the greatest maqam after the Anbiya alayhimu salatu wassalam. And it's only rightful that in the akhirah he holds the greatest maqam as well. You see, on the day of judgment, Yawm al-Qiyamah, everyone knows about Qiyamat, everyone has iman in Qiyamat. We have spoken about the alamat of Yawm al-Qiyamah, the signs of the day of judgment. You see, on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran has beautifully told us that on that day, Allah Almighty is going to tell you to stand behind your imams. And here the word imam doesn't mean me. Here the word imam means those people who you used to look up to, those who were your best friends, those who you used to hang around and chill out with. For young lads, it's the gang leader. You have a small crew, and in the crew you have one geezer who's in charge of everything. He's the one who runs the show. If in the dunya you take him as your imam, on Qiyamah you will stand behind him. If in this dunya we take role models as the non-Muslim, we take role models as footballers and pop stars. The Champions League final on Saturday, those Manchester United followers took a great beating on the hands of Barcelona. I didn't watch the final because I was on my way to Bradford. And those United fans, footballers, the majority of the youngsters are probably sitting upstairs and they're listening. Those of you who watch the football, you know how we idolize Wayne Rooney and Sir Alex Ferguson, and we look up to the likes of Nani and these footballers, and we think, man, I want to be like them. What they forgot is that on the football pitch there was no one better than Lionel Messi. He was the best footballer there at that time, and he showed them how to play football with Xavi and Iniesta. And if you look up and you follow and idolize these footballers, in this dunya all it's about is football, football, football. I myself personally, most of you know me as the Imam. I have a personal life. My personal life, I would love it for it to have a lot of football inside it. Due to my job and the timings of the salah, I have no time to play football. I am a very big follower of football. I listen to the Premiership, I watch. I'm trying to relate to you here. But when I was a young man, I'm 21 years old, I'm talking like I'm 40. When I was a couple of years ago, I grew up watching football, and I was a big fanatic of football. I used to love watching football. Football was my life. If you ask my parents, they would tell you, all I ever wanted to do or be was a footballer. Always football, football, football. Put the game on. Champions League final, Champions League games, FA Cup, League Cup, Carling Cup, all these World Cup, all these games I used to watch. I can go all the way back to 1968 and tell you about Sir Bobby Moore's time, West Ham. When he won the World Cup in 1966, the England team, all the way through to the 70s of Pele and Jairzinho, and grew up like this. Had a great fanaticism for football. In Bradford, when I was there, always I used to play in the local school. Everyone knew me, football, always in shorts playing. And it was getting to a point where I began to idolize and worship football. It was nothing. I used to get the football games, FIFA 10, FIFA 11, Pro Evolution, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, all these games, football games, everything. I used to always play them. But it comes to a point in your life where you think to yourself, what's far more important? And I grew up idolizing footballers. Zinedine Zidane, Lionel Messi, these people, we look at them, wow, great footballers. I wish I could score a free kick like him. I wish I could do this skill, that skill. The point I'm making is, we have grown up in this culture that we live in. Football plays a big part. I know so many lads who idolize and worship football. Literally, football is far more important. The Champions League final is on. Salatul Maghrib is time. Maghrib can wait, Messi cannot wait. Maghrib can wait, Champions League final cannot wait. That's the state we're in today. Football first, deen second. Music, we listen to all these musicians, or these songwriters, Dr. Dre's and Tupac's, Kanye West's, and Rihanna's, and all these low keys, and God knows what else they listen to. We idolize these songs. We always listen to them. This is everything in our life. We know the song by heart. We know more songs than we know the Quran. Our children know more songs of Tupac and Biggie, and they know more songs of, Justin Bieber and God knows who else they listen to. Far more songs we know about them. We know all about these people. When it goes, read the Quran, read your Salah. Stuttering, there is no flow. You know how the Eminem raps? There is no flow in the rap. He can flow in his rapping. We can't flow when it comes to the Quran. And that's the state that we're in today. Music first, Deen, Quran second. Football first, Deen, Quran second. These are two very drugs. Another issue, weed, marijuana, cocaine, heroin. I was talking to a friend in Bradford, and I go, everyone's on weed here. Everyone likes smoking and drugs and everything. And he goes, Imam Sahib, you're talking about weed and marijuana dealing. These people have gone to cocaine now. These people have become coke dealers now. They go higher and higher. They worship the drugs. They can't live without a zoot. They can't live without a sniff, injection. You're worshipping the drugs. Allah comes second. Rasulullah is second. Deen is second. Salah time second. Mal dolat, izzat. It's all about respect. All about people knowing who I am. You have one flashy car, it's all about having another flashy car. You think to yourself, who are we following? Who do we idolize? Who do we worship? The point of everything that I've just mentioned or summarized is that if in this dunya, this is who you worship and idolize, and this is who you consider the most important thing in your life, on the day of judgment, you will stand behind these things. These will be your imams. These will be the ones that you will ask for help on that day. However, if you seek help in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you look into the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam's life, you look into the life of Abu Bakr Siddiq. How many children sitting here know who Abu Bakr Siddiq is? Not many. No one knows. They have friends who are called Abu Bakr. Why do you name your children Abu Bakr? We name our friends are called Abu Bakr, or we name our children Abu Bakr after this man who I am talking about today. This is why we call our children Abu Bakr. This is the name we give them. But many people don't know who Abu Bakr radiallahu anh is, but they definitely know who Cristiano Ronaldo is. They definitely know who the pop stars and musicians are. They know the latest songs that are out. They definitely know what's the best car on the street. Nissan Skyline GTR, in my opinion. They know all this, but they don't know who Abu Bakr radiallahu anh is. They don't know Umar Farooq. They don't know Usman Zun Nurayn. That's your history. They are your people that you need to follow and love. They are the ones, if you follow today, tomorrow you will stand behind them on Qiyamah. And that's who you want to stand behind. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, on the day of judgment, when I will be risen from my qabr, I will be the first to arise from my grave. The Prophet ﷺ says, I will be the first from the entire creation to come out from the grave. You see, when Qiyamah will occur, the first trumpet will blow, everything will be destroyed. Then the angel will be asked to blow the trumpet a second time. Then everyone will rise from the graves. When everyone will rise from their grave, the Prophet ﷺ said, I will be the first one to arise from my grave. But Nabi ﷺ further continued and said, when I will arise, in my right hand will be Abu Bakr. He will be the second one to arise. And in my left hand will be Umar radiallahu. They will be the first to arise on that day. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, you see on the day of judgment, there will be different flag posts, different stations. There will be one station called the Mizan. This is where your Namai A'mal, the good deeds and the bad deeds are weighed. The Mizan, the scales. There will be one station called the Pul Sirat, the bridge that is over the fire of Jahannam, where it's thinner than a hair and sharper than a sword. Everyone will have to cross over this bridge to get to Jannah. This will be another station on the day of judgment. There will be another station on the day of judgment where you will stand in front of Allah and you will be given your good deeds book, your register. If you receive your register in your right hand, you are going to Jannah. If you receive it in your left hand or behind your back, you are destined for hell. This is Qiyamah. On that day, everyone will stand there, everyone will be in their own hal, in their own state. For those who are gunagar, those who are sinners, that day will be 50,000 years long. 50,000 years. You know, when it's sunny here, when the sun is shining, we say it's too sunny now. I can't handle the sun. This sun is, God knows, 999 million miles away from the surface of this dunya, this earth. And we can't handle the sun. The Prophet ﷺ said, on the day of judgment, the sun is going to be above your head. The very same sun in this dunya will be above your head. And people will be drowning in their sweat. Some people's sweat will be coming up to their ankles. Some people's sweat will be coming up to their knees. Some people will be sweating and drowning and they will be coming up to their hips. Some people will be sweating and drowning and they will be coming up to their shoulders. Some people will be drowning in their sweat. Why? They can't handle the heat. It's too difficult. But the people like Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala and these people on the day of judgment, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, for them the day of judgment is like reading 4 rakat of Salatul Asr. Very quickly time will go. And when Allah Almighty says begin the Hisab and Kitab, the awliyaullah, the Sahaba, the friends of Allah, these people, they will say, is that it? Is this the day of judgment? Everyone else will think it's so long, and they'll go to the Rasulullah ﷺ and say, do shafa'at, intercede, become our wasila to intercede to Allah. And the Prophet ﷺ will do, the likes of Abu Bakr Siddiq, they will be having an easy time on that day. And that is promised by Rasulullah ﷺ and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will have an easy time. There is no hisab and kitab for these people. They have no questioning. They had the ziyarat of Rasulullah ﷺ in this dunya. The Prophet ﷺ said Abu Bakr is in Jannat. There is no question for him. Nabi ﷺ, when all the hisab and kitab will be done and Ahlul Jannat will go to Ahlul Jannah, Ahlul Nar will go to Ahlul Nar, Nabi ﷺ said the first one to enter into Jannat, Nabi ﷺ will go and knock on the door of Jannat. And when Nabi ﷺ is going to knock on the door of Jannat, of Jannah, of paradise, the angel standing behind and say, who is it? And he will say, Muhammed Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And the angel will say, Allah Almighty ordered me not to open the door of Jannah unless you are standing on the other side. I.e., the door of Jannat will only open when the Prophet asks for ijazat to open. When the Prophet will ask ijazat, they will enter. Nabi alayhi salatu salam said, the first one from my ummah to enter after me into Jannat is Abu Bakr Siddiq. He will enter into paradise after the Prophet alayhi salatu salam. He will be the first to be risen after the Prophet alayhi salatu salam. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu's maqam in the akhirat is undisputed. No one can question his maqam, his status there. Nabi alayhi salatu salam said there will be one station on the mahshar, on the plains of Arafat, as they've been described on the mahshar, on the plains of Qiyamah. There is going to be one area which is just designated called the Hawd al-Kawthar, the fountain of Kawthar. Nabi alayhi salatu salam said on that day of Qiyamah, no one will have the quwwat, no one will have any water to quench their thirst, except the water will be found at my fountain of Kawthar. And this is only destined to my ummah who has been chosen. And Nabi alayhi salatu salam said on that day, go to the Hawd al-Kawthar, and there will be 4 flag posts, 4 destinations in that area. On one of the flags, Abu Bakr will be standing there giving water to the ummah. Go to Abu Bakr Siddiq for water. Go to Umar Farooq for water. Go for Uthman Zul Nurayn for water. Go for Ali al-Murtaza for water. They will be giving water to my ummah. Go and ask them for water. Sahibul Ghar and Sahibul Hawd. The Prophet ﷺ said he was my sahib in the dunya, he will be my sahib in the akhirah. So the maqam of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq is undisputed. I leave with this question, that if we follow the dunya, and I leave it to the youth, I leave it to the buzurgs, and I leave it for all the middle class people sitting here, the middle-aged people, the young people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. If this is the maqam of someone who devoted his entire life to Islam, entire life to the deen and to Rasulullah alayhi salam, And he did qurban for Rasulullah ﷺ. And I finished with that one final rawayat, just to prove this. When Nabi ﷺ said, there are three things in this dunya that are beloved to me. Itar, perfume, and nisa, women. I respect for women, honoring women, the amanat of women. And the third thing Rasulullah ﷺ said, my salah, my prayer is the coolness to my eyes. I love my salah. These three things were beloved to Rasulullah ﷺ. Very famous hadith which is sahih. Imam al-Tabrani narrates it, Imam al-Nasa'i narrates it, Imam Hakim narrates it, Imam Muslim narrates it, Ibn Adi narrated from Sayyidina Anas radiyallahu ta'ala an, Abu Ya'la, Imam Ahmad in the Musnad, Abu Uwana in his Mustakhraj, Tabrani narrates it in his Awsat, Bayhaqi. There's no question in the Sihat of this hadith. But there is a continuation of this hadith. There's an ad. When the Prophet ﷺ said these three things are beloved to me, on that occasion Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq was sitting there. Sayyidina Usman was sitting there, Sayyidina Umar was sitting there, Sayyidina Ali was sitting there. The Sahaba were all sitting there. And Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala an, the hadith of Mawahibul Ladunya, Imam Shahabuddin al-Qustalani narrates this. When the Prophet ﷺ said this, Qala Abu Bakr wa ana ya Rasulullah, hubiba ilayya min ad-dunya an-nazru ila wajhika. Ya Rasulullah, you have told us that there are three things you love. O Allah's Messenger, there are three things that I also love. The first thing that I love in this dunya more than anything, an-nazru ila wajhika, looking at your face. In this dunya, there is nothing more beloved to me than looking at the face of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. The second thing, Ya Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, that I love is wajam'ul mal infaqi alayka. You know, when I get my mal and dawlat, I earn my money, I give all my money to you. There's nothing more beloved to me in this dunya than I give all my money to you. Everything is for you. He loves looking at the Prophet, and he loves giving his money to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the last one he said, وَالتَّوَصُّلْ بِكَرَابَتِكَ إِلَيْكَ. Ya Rasulullah, I love seeking anything, any wasila to get close to you. Anything that I can ask for, I'll try any kind of wasila to get close to you. The word tawassul is used. People do inkar of wasila. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq says, I seek wasila to get close to you. Anything to get close to you. The three things that Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq loved in this dunya more than anything were all connected to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ask yourself this question. The three things we love in this dunya, what are they? Money, women, respect, cars, football, music. Where is the deen? Where is Rasulullah ﷺ attached in any of this? So do dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we follow truly in the naqsh qadam and in the footsteps of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala an, and that we can adopt his mentality and his philosophy of life into our lives.